Hi, everybody. Welcome to Small Steps, Big Life. My name is Nathan Aswell. I'm based in Vancouver, Canada. Actually, truth be told, I'm based in White Rock, BC, Canada, which is about 45 minutes south of Vancouver, a beautiful spot right on the ocean. And it is my great pleasure today to share with you two dear friends of mine who live right in my backyard. Well, not quite my backyard, but pretty close. Fellow White Rock residents, Rita Britnell and Thomas Moore. Rita is an emotional intuitive and Thomas is a medical intuitive. And it's been my good fortune to be friends of these very gifted people for quite some time. And I thought it would be a perfect thing to share them with all of you. So here we are on Small Steps, Big Life to talk about their journeys. So Rita, I was laughing before we got on this call today, remembering that the first time that we met, do you remember?
Yes, I do.
You brought a camera to one of the
Peace Circle.
Oh, was it okay? Well, I'm remembering three things. I'm remembering the Peace Circle. I'm remembering giving you a ticket to see Michael Beckwith at Unity of Vancouver.
Yes, you did that day.
And I remember you bringing a camera to the Mardi Gras coffee house that happened in the basement of Unity of Vancouver and taking great pictures of a whole bunch of people.
That's right. I did too. Yes, exactly.
What I can't tell you is what year that was. I tried finding it in my calendar.
Oh, I can.
Yeah.
It's in the pictures.
Yeah.
Anyway,
so that's where it all began, and gee, it's become an awful lot more since then. And just to let everybody who's watching know, I have had the good fortune of working with both Rita and Thomas individually and collectively, and boy, in either of those combinations, they are very powerful beings. So Rita, you're very welcome. My great pleasure. So Rita, tell us, what is it? What is it to be an emotional intuitive, and how did that begin for you? Where did your journey begin with that?
Well, I have a question regarding my glasses. They look like there's a reflection. Is it better if I take them off?
Would you feel comfortable taking them off?
I can.
Or if you want to keep them on, just don't look straight ahead. Just look down a little bit so we don't see the glare of the light. So either way.
Yeah. So how I began was in 1998 around 1998. I had to wake up. My life wasn't working. I had to do personal work. I was guided to a woman who helped me become the emotional intuitive that I am or became. We did a lot of clearing over the next 10 years. And I had to leave a relationship. I had to leave a marriage. I have a son. And I was wanting to have a man in my life who was going to be a complement to me and also in the work. And I met Thomas in 2000 and we were guided to come together. And then my work became more clear because I was holding the feminine presence. I was moving emotional stuff. It became more clear what I was really doing.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yeah, so I'm the feeler, and Thomas is the listener. So I'm the feminine, I'm the feeler. I help to move the emotions, the stuff that's stuck in the body, and it just moves very clearly. So I learned, Eckhart was one of the ones I knew about the pain body. I was always guided to go in the body to be with what is. But it was in 2000 I learned about the back of the heart. So meeting Thomas brought my growth to the next level, and it has grown ever since then. So over the last 5 years, more tools, more awareness, the ego, the back of the heart, and how to move emotions quickly. And now, of course, working with Thomas over the past 5 years, bringing not only emotional aspects together, but how the physical is impacted in that as well.
Beautiful. Yeah. Just before we go on, Thomas, before I get you to speak, can you guys hear some funny sound?
Yes.
I'm wondering if you can hear, if it's the sound of coming out of your computer speaker into the room. I'm wondering if somehow that's possible, because usually when you plug a speaker in, that kind of stops happening.
So are you saying maybe something, maybe I need to close down this thing,
No, can you, when you take with your other ear, well, just take the earbud away from your ear. I'm going to stop the recording for a second. Okay, we're back after just addressing a little technical issue, and we're good. So Thomas, tell us a little bit about your journey and what is it to be a medical intuitive, and how on earth did you get started on that? You two are the only two emotional intuitive and medical intuitive people I know. So this is just amazing to me that you heard this calling and have stepped into it so lovingly and completely.
First off, Nathan, I'd like to thank you for inviting us on the program.
Great,
very much appreciated. It's nice that you're actually doing this. It's wonderful you're doing this so people can experience these sorts of things, and we appreciate the invitation. It's very kind of you.
My great pleasure.
Becoming a medical intuitive is almost, it's a journey, definitely. It started over 20 years ago for me with energetic healing. I started doing energy healing, and it transmorphed into more and more and more, learning more, reading more about anatomy, and then just practicing with clients and with patients that came to see us. And the more I did, the better I got, the more I did, and it just carried on. At some point during the time, it got so I could actually see inside a person's body like a full color MRI. This morning we had a lady who came in to see me. Rita wasn't in the session at that particular time, but I was looking inside her body, and I said, "Well, you have a bunch of scarring around your uterus." And she says, "Yeah, I had some endometriosis, I had surgery." And she looked at me and her eyes got wide, and she went, "Oh, wow, he can actually see inside me." And I went, "Yeah, I can." And it's kind of like a full color MRI inside my head, but it's been a long road to get where we are, both of us really, for me to be where I am today. And a lot of it's just study, meditation, listening to the guides, what the guides have to say, because I can hear the guides point me in certain directions and tell me things that are going on. And then I just look. A lot of times, and I check a whole bunch of different things in the body to see what's going on. And I just get a number in my head, and then I confirm that with a pendulum and see where we're at.
Thomas's gift is pretty unique, Nathan, in that he didn't just take a medical intuitive workshop or a class. People say to us, once in a while we get an email, "Can you teach us medical intuition?" In his case, he was meant to open this doorway up, and it's pretty distinct, and he's very, very good at it.
It's interesting that the point that I can actually see inside the body like a focal MRI, where there's a lot of medical intuitives, and they can't do that. Some of them see energy. Some of them see energy bodies inside the body. They see the liver, and they look at the liver, and it looks red, and they go, "Okay, well, your liver's red. I don't know why it's red. There's something wrong with it." I look at the liver, and I say, "Oh, you have stones. There's some cancer there. You got this. It's inflamed." And I can see all of that. So that's the big difference. And I don't think there's many medical intuitives that can actually do that. It's a very unique gift, and it developed over time. It's probably something I had from birth, but I just never tapped into it until I started doing healing work when I was 37.
Well, you're in Dharma, basically. And
I'm in my Dharma.
Yeah, and the other thing is there's clarity, there's practicality to this, there's solutions, because we also call on products. So we're not just moving energy or doing energy. It's tied in with really practical, there's some solutions for people's health to get better. We have to have some products to help their bodies. And so we've got a really great combination.
Yeah.
So there we go.
But before we get more deeply into that, I still want to take a step back, because, the rest of us who, are looking in on the two of you with wonder and awe, tell us more, please, Thomas, what happened to you around 37? Rita described that as kind of the beginning of, you say that it may well have been something that has been a part of you since birth, but tell us more about how this began, because, this is a very unique path that each of you is on.
Before I met Rita, I was married, and my first wife used to get menstrual cramps. And I would rub her tummy, and all the pains went away, and I would get menstrual cramps for about an hour or so afterwards. My body would shed the energy. So for Christmas one year, she bought me a small book on therapeutic touch and an 8-week meditation group with a lady by the name of Sharon Richlark. I started meditating on a regular basis, and I started seeing things right away, all sorts of different things, and energies and energy fields and people, and quite a number of things. And Sharon realized that I had some kind of talent for this and encouraged me to continue to do that, to continue some kinds of healing courses. I went through the Healing Touch program a long time ago. It really is long gone. It's what I do today is completely so far removed from what that was. It's amazing. But that's really how it started, just doing some energy work, feeling energy, feeling what was going on inside a person's body, and then tuning in. And over a period of time, I got to be able to see their guides. The guides would show up, and I'd go, "Oh, hello, how are you?" And they would say who they are, and I'd tell the person that was on the table, and then they would give me ideas of what I need to look at. And I started checking different things inside their bodies to see what's going on. It got to the point where I can see certain muscles, where the muscles sore, where there's a vertebrae out, all sorts of different things. So on that, it's an interesting journey. It's not one that happened overnight. It took a long time to get there. And I would surmise that most people, if they try and do this, it would take a long time to get where I am as well, if they had the gift.
And see, I'm not meant to hear as clearly or see. I'm meant to feel and help with this aspect.
Right.
I'm told that if I was to have other abilities, that it would be too much for me. So each one of us gets certain things.
Right.
We have this in meditation where people say, "Well, I don't hear, I don't, what is it?" So it's over time, each person has different ability or senses of knowing. It's really that listening within, and also it's being able to calm the ego, calm the mind. So the practitioner with this sort of gift, intuitive gift, any kind of practitioner, the more the ego is calm and the back heart is open, for example, we'll talk about that. The more the ego is out of the way, the clearer the channel or the person intuiting.
And it's about the mind. It's not when you have a busy mind, it doesn't work.
Right.
And that's what you need to do. You need to quiet your mind completely so you can hear, so you can listen, so you can see. And there's different types of people, as Rita says. There's ones that can hear, there's ones that can see, and there's ones that feel. And feelers, generally speaking, don't hear or see. Some people can see and hear at the same time, like myself. But it's very rare to find someone who is a feeler, someone who sees and hears at the same time, because it would almost be information overload.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Thank you for giving me such a wonderful answer, Thomas. I appreciate that. So Rita, I now invite you to do the same. You skipped very quickly over kind of your process to where you are now, and I'd like you to go back. So there was a woman that you went to go see because you really wanted to get your life in order, and
I had to leave my marriage because I wasn't meant to stay in it, and I had to wake up to patterns and well, what the heck? There was enough going on at the time in my life that it was real painful, and I wanted to really do the right thing, and I did have to leave my marriage, and this wonderful woman, my mentor, she was the woman that really taught me how to be there for in a loving way. My friend, my mentor, she was there anytime I needed her, and I'm really grateful for her always.
Mm-hmm.
And she taught me everything about it, and I became more sensitive as a result of the work I was doing with her. So it took me, in my 40s, for the next 10 years, I was sort of finding my own way as a single person out of a marriage and so forth. I had to deal with lots of issues.
mm-hmm.
Dynamics of unkind behavior with, certain people, families, and so forth. So I had to do a lot of growing, a lot of Eckhart's work. And then when I was preparing, I wanted to have someone in my life that had my back.
Yeah.
I wanted to mate. I wanted to, at one point, it's like, I don't want to do this alone anymore,
Right.
And guides led us together. Thomas had to be ready. He had to leave a marriage in order to be available. He was guided. This isn't serving you. You need to take this step. And a month later, we met through a friend who invited us to a common gathering. And literally that day we came together because it was high time. It's like, okay, let's get on with it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went with him and I went home with him and we just got on it. And so that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It was time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So him learning more about the feminine and being loved by a woman and being supported in the work, supported emotionally on all levels, yummy relationship. And myself being able to have this nurturing male that's here saying, you're home, it's okay. I've got your back. Relax. And so we work as a team. And then, of course, I learned about the back heart. And now, being in this relationship is one of harmony and kindness and respect. And we're both aware, as we came together, there were certain tweakings that had to happen because there was old stuff that needed to now heal that hadn't had a chance. Most people have never entered into a relationship like this. And so as we came together, it was gentle and kind, and then every so often there was old emotional wounds that came forth. But the point was that we have the space, we hold the space for one another, and it's like, oh, okay. Oh, let's clear this, let's clear that, let's clear this. So over the past 5 years, there's just been more clearly. Yeah.
Beautiful.
More honing of the gift, more getting the ego out of the way.
Both of us grew up in families that our parents, grandparents, great-grandparents didn't love themselves.
Yeah.
Their rear heart chakra was solidly blocked. They weren't in that place of love and giving love to allowing love and being love all the time. So when the heart's closed in the back, you're emitting fear all the time. So we're growing up in a family of fear, sometimes violence, sometimes unhappiness, struggle, all these different things. And that shifted for both of us in our own way at different times. And then the universe said, okay, these two need to be together to be able to work together to create this union to help other people. And that's basically how it happened.
Mm-hmm.
Amen. And we're all the better for it.
Amen. Exactly.
And as a result of opening my back heart, loving myself, keeping it open, and that's a process of continuing to keep making sure it's always open. But as I was doing that, it also shifted my mom's heart. Suddenly we were on the Skype call together, and there was no more bumping off, or no more reactivity, no more blame. And there was this, my mom says, I feel like we're having a visit. This is really nice. And so there's this sweetness that happens when back hearts are open. There's like even in this moment, because we're all with our back hearts open. There's a sweetness.
Okay, let's launch into the back heart. I know what that means, but let's let everybody in who's watching either now or later. Let's talk about the back heart and opening the back heart and the rose exercise and whatever else you'd like to say.
There's 7 different major chakras. Everybody knows about the 7 different major chakras. There's also other chakras all over the body. There's in your hands, your knees, your feet, your shoulders. There's 3 extra chakras that are within the major ones, the internal physical, the internal emotional, and the internal mental, which govern deep emotions, physical organs, and brain, basically the hard drive inside the brain. But the key one we're talking about are the back chakras. So there's chakras in the front, there's chakras in the back, and a lot of people don't know that there's a corresponding chakra in front of the heart that sticks straight out the back, the exact same size, but that's the back heart chakra. And most of us, right there,
and
right
between
there,
your shoulder
right
blades.
between your shoulder blades, and people get pain there. They have a soreness there. They don't know why it is. It doesn't go away
Because the physical chakra is closed.
Yeah. And when they come and see us, we open it up. The pain goes away, and they go, "That pain's gone."
And emotionally, they go,
They're a lot calmer in the inside.
Now they're home. Now they're landing into themselves because the ego is no longer holding them. Now they're actually coming home to themselves. Emotionally, it's like whimper, whimper, whimper.
It's calming. Everybody feels calmer afterwards.
Mm-hmm. And now we work with them. Now they're open. Now they're allowing my energy in. Now they're allowing Thomas's energy. They're allowing guidance in. They're no longer pinching themselves off.
And they can release the emotional blocks that they have much easier.
The emotional energy in the body. It doesn't just left brain leave. You actually have to get down and open, let be and let God surrender that particular place, which is okay, I'm open. All right, ego, I love you. Mm-hmm. And now we can go deeper and go, let's go inside. Oh, there it is. And then we access the deep emotions and ask them to release from those lower chakras.
As spirit, we come here, we pick up a body, and we pick up an ego. The ego has three different emotions: fight, flight, and needing to be loved. When that heart chakra in the back is closed, it turns into fight, flight, and neediness. And that neediness is the ego constantly looking outside of itself for something to make it happy. And it can be food, it can be drugs, it can be alcohol, it can be cigarettes, it can be working out, it can be money, it can be sex, it can be all these different things that the ego is constantly searching for something because it's needing something always. And those addictive behaviors come from that ego looking for something. Control issues, we need to control everything around us. Perfectionist issues, I need to be perfect, or you won't love me. You need to be perfect, I won't love you. And blame issues, it's always someone else's fault. It's not my fault, it's the government's fault, it's the tax man's fault. All these issues happen when the heart's closed in the back. When you open your heart, and it doesn't happen overnight, it's something you need to do continually, and it falls away, and those addictive behaviors start to disappear over a period of time. And it's about sending love to the ego. And that's really the next step. That's the next step for humanity. Watching the ego is one thing, observing it, but sending love to it. When you send love to the ego, now the ego is getting exactly what it's been looking for your entire existence. Love. Love itself.
You're actually parenting that ego. And it's the ego is that part that's frightful, that's afraid, that's been hurt. It's like Thomas talks from a left brain perspective, saying when you open the back heart and everything goes away. Well, on another level, on an emotional level, or for most people, it's like, oh, there's something coming up again. And then, there's some anxiousness or some fear or some old pattern that gets triggered. And it's like, well, that's it. What is that? And Eckhart talked about being present in your body, noticing what's coming up. Now the reactivity comes up, noticing, I love you. Okay, it's all right. Is my back heart open? I love you. Ego. It's like soothing self. So it's parenting yourself. It's loving that part of you that didn't receive the love when you were a little girl or a little boy. So you've got to bring presence and awareness to it. And the ego, your ego, you have to be willing to actually let go of it. Ego likes to be in charge and likes to pull you back into it and likes to trip you up. Ego is very tricky at making excuses.
It wants to run things.
It wants to run things. But what you're asking it to do, that part of you saying, it's okay, come with me. We're not annihilating you. We're not, I can't surrender to it, really. I tried that for years with Eckhart's work. No disrespect to Eckhart, but you've got to say, it's okay, Ego, come over here in the passenger seat. Come with me. You're taking it. I'll hold your hand, so that your intuitive, your wiser self as an adult can say, all right, let's move forward. It's okay. We're releasing this old pain. We don't need it anymore.
You're holding your ego in a place of love.
Yes, that's it.
Right? And the thing is that 75% of the population of the planet don't love themselves. 75% are like that. They grew up in families where their hearts are closed in the back and they're running that egoic pattern all the time. And that's why, in my opinion, there's so many divorces, because you get that codependent bump, bump, bump that's happening all the time. And the subconscious mind says, how can that person love me if I don't even love me? And then they start bumping them off. And then, oh, look at that one over there. I like that one. I'm going in that direction. And off they go. It
takes a certain amount of responsibility, and both of us had to wake up. We had to have a few bumps earlier on in my 30s. And then finally there was this other bump where I really had to wake up and go, what is going on? There's a repeated pattern. And that's when I started to read, but then I had to live it and grow it and move stuff. So everybody has their own timing, and not every person is going to go here either, because there's different soul ages, and we can go into that at whenever time we do that. But there's certain ones. Thomas and I are mature souls, and so are you, Nathan. And so we're like, okay, what's up? And anyways, my mind just went blank. That happens every once in a while. So something
there's different, as Rita says, there's different soul ages. So you're finding there's 5 different categories: infant souls, baby souls, young souls, mature souls, and old souls. And it's literally a reincarnation merry-go-round. You get on this, you start at infant soul level 1, You work your way through to infant soul level 7, then you get to move on to baby soul level 1. You move up to baby soul level 7, and there's 7 levels in each category. Infant souls are aboriginals. 4% of the population of the planet are infant souls. You find them in the African jungle, the Australian outback, things like that, very native intrinsic to the earth. Baby souls act like babies. There's 34% of the population of the planet are baby souls. They love control. They love to be in politics. They love drama. They love suffering.
They love the box.
Everything's black and white. Lots of government workers, military, policemen, firemen, not all, but some of them are attracted to that because of that particular aspect of it, control and the drama and the suffering and all that sort of thing. Stephen Harper is a baby soul. Christy Clark, she's a baby soul. George Bush Jr. is a baby soul.
The Ices is baby
all these
soul.
80% of the Ices guys, the ISILs, they're all baby souls. They're out there killing people and having a ball doing that, creating lots of karma for themselves as a baby soul. The next category are young souls. That's the Donald Trumps of the world. It's all about the money. It's all about the power. It's all about me. And a lot of the candidates are, for the United States presidential election, are young souls. And that's about the power and the money. Then there's mature souls like the three of us who are interested in relationships, helping others, fixing karma from past lives, the environment, trying to do good for other people and ourselves, and really understanding how things work. And then there's old souls, and old souls are very chilled, they're very relaxed. Nothing really bothers them. It's the water washes up a duck's back, basically. A lot of them, they're teachers, they're mentors, they're professors. Some, like Richard Branson, the Virgin Airways guy, multi-billionaire, he's an old soul. Johnny Depp, George Clooney, Meryl Streep, Jimmy Buffett, Bob Marley, they're all old souls. Some live in the bush. Leave me alone. I don't want to be bugged by anybody. So
The main difference too, though, is it's like we talk about soul ages in our sessions because it helps people to understand their family members and why are we not connected, what's going on, and I can't seem to have a relationship, and why is my mother, father, well, what is this? And it was great insight for me when I realized I had been raised by a baby soul mother, which it was very difficult for many years. And bless my heart, mom's heart, she's on the other side, and she's seeing clearly now, and everything is just love. So she's all good. But I got blanked again.
You blanked again. It's interesting because we were talking about Kenny Chesney. He's a country and western star, and his marriage to Renee Zellweger. And I decided to check to see what happened because they only married for 4 months and then they were done. And Kenny Chesney is an old soul level 4. He's an artist sage, so he's an artist. He loves to sing. He also loves to pass on the messages, which is through his music. Whereas Renee Zellweger is a mature soul level 1, and she is an artist scholar. So she loves information, giving information, but being an artistic actress and that sort of thing. But the dichotomy between mature soul level 1 is a person that likes money. They're just out of the young soul age. So they like the money, they like the power, they like the dresses, they like the being seen, that sort of thing, as opposed to the old soul who's chilled, relaxed. Kenny Chesney loves to hang out in the U.S. Virgin Islands on the beach.
And his heart is open.
And his heart's open, whereas her heart is actually closed to that.
So
that makes it difficult for a couple to actually make it.
So some of these bigger gaps happen, and we bring that sort of insight forth in our sections. And so the big thing is soul ages, what soul age is this person, what soul age is that person, not for judgment, just for awareness and understanding. And then is their back heart closed or is their back heart open? Because if their back heart is closed, they're coming from ego. And this is why we always suggest when someone we work with, say a woman wants to have a lovely male wants to have a relationship. Once we teach them about the back heart, make sure you keep your back heart open and allowing good for yourself. And there is more success that happens to you in all ways when your back heart is open, because now you're allowing good. And you're also guided and being guided. Your ego is over here, hopefully, as well as you're listening, because you still have to pay attention to the ego, even though the back heart is open. And now you choose, you discern who you allow in your life, because when you do this work, you want to allow for someone in your life with his heart open.
When your heart's closed in the back, you're constantly emitting fear energy. You're always running fear. The ego's got a hold of that fear energy. When your heart's open, then you're constantly emitting love energy. So what you give, you receive. If you're giving fear, you're going to get fear back. If you give love, you're going to get love back. And people notice it. People feel it. When you open up your heart, people look at you differently. They go, well, there's something different about you. I don't know what it is, but you just feel good.
Yeah.
I like being around you.
But the thing is, we're at a time now where there's so much contrast, as Abraham would say, or so much chaotic chaos going on, egoic behavior. We're not done with that. Like, it's even possibly even getting worse. And rather than stepping into a place of fear with what's going on out there, the key is to really come back to yourself inside and focus on yourself and choosing to open the heart, choosing to watch your own ego, choosing where you go, choosing what you're thinking, feeling, and doing your own work.
I'm going to backtrack a little bit. We were talking about those who may not be able to open up their rear heart chakras or even be interested in that. Those would be the baby souls and the young souls. They're not interested in spirituality. They're not interested in doing this kind of work. They're not interested in personal emotional work. And they may be, as they get older, possibly a baby soul or younger soul when they get in their late 60s or early 70s. The young soul level 7s, yeah, they're looking at moving forward into mature soul age. So they want to have that relationship along with the money and the power. But those baby souls, the ISIS guys, do you think they'll actually listen to someone opening up their heart? Not a chance.
So it's really, and this is what Jesus will say too when we're speaking through channel, allowing each person to walk their path. It can be a family member, it can be them over there.
Right.
It's releasing them, sending energy, not having any energy on it. I release, Ho'oponopono, bless them. Everyone's walking their own path.
Yeah. And I was thinking of that as you were speaking, Thomas, that, we're all on our own path, and, to be open-hearted and accepting of wherever we are, that it's not about, the old souls have it all together and, kind of looking down on the baby souls or the young souls. It's, we're all where we are, and it's...
Exactly. It's not for judgment, it's just for observation.
Yeah.
And when you get to the point where you're observing it, you go, okay, well, that's how it works.
Yeah.
I remember I was walking home from the center one day, and there was a bright sunny day, and there was one car driving past, a black Mercedes-Benz convertible with a woman in a black suit with big flashy sunglasses and coiffed hair. And in the other direction, there's a chap in an old Volkswagen beat-up Beetle convertible with a big old dog on the side. He's got long hair and kind of scruffy clothes. And I'm thinking, okay, young soul, baby soul, or young soul, old soul, right? There they are, contrast. And that's interesting.
Yeah.
You just observe it. You just watch and see what's going on.
Yeah. So I want to ask you both a couple of things. One is just all this talk about each of us being at different souls. Is the goal in a relationship, or is the secret, and maybe this is the best way to ask it, is the successful relationship defined by two people who are on the same level or close in level? Like, can you say a little bit more about that? And,
generally, yeah, you're right. If two people are within 4 or 5 levels of each other, generally speaking, it's going to work better. Someone who's a mature soul level 7 usually gets along very well with someone who's an old soul. Someone who's a mature soul level 1 or a young soul will struggle with an old soul. Someone who's a baby, interestingly enough, baby souls will marry old souls because old souls are the only ones that can actually handle them. You see old souls with old souls, you see baby souls with baby souls, but it's very rare when you see a baby soul with any other category other than the baby or an old. It's quite, we find this all the time.
So we also have parents, say a mother is pregnant, and she would like to find out the soul age of her baby.
Right.
She can come, she can Skype for a session, or she can come in person. Especially if she has another child already, she can pick which soul age she wants to pick. So just briefly dipping into this one, when a woman is pregnant, there's several spirits hanging about her. Wow. And how she's able to determine the different ones that are hanging about. So they could be, one from each soul age. They could be an artist, scholar. There's different aspects to each as well. So he's able to determine, and then the mom can go away and talk to her husband and say, wow, what's a good fit for our family? So it's a way of being able to even more consciously make a choice. The key to it is when you're asking to be in a healthy relationship, is a big one is the back of the heart open. And looking for that sign where you feel like you're going to be able to land. In my case, it was just, I was guided. What is this? Yes, I need to be over here. And it was like the guides weren't even telling him. I mean, he was able to listen, but he also had to come into the experience itself to discover that this is really it. We had to just land into the experience with one another. And I, within a few days of being with Thomas, I think this is it. Wow. I had to just land into the experience, be with it, notice what's showing up, notice the kindness, notice how I was feeling. So
it's a number of years ago, a couple from Whistler asked me to check the soul ages for their unborn baby that was coming through. And I think there was about 4 or 5 different spirits that come through. There's a baby soul, an old soul, a young soul, a rainbow, and possibly a crystal child. I can't remember what they all were. But we sat down and they said, well, we want to have the young soul. And I said, okay, are you sure? And they said, yeah, we want to have the young soul because it could be very interesting and she'll be lots of fun. And I said, you realize that this child will hit the ground running at 6 a.m. and not stop till 10 p.m. And they said, no, that's fine. And 5 years later, they called me and they said, you were right. Our daughter hits the ground running at 5 a.m., 6 a.m., and does not stop till 10 p.m.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay.
We should move on to something else. We should move on to the.
What I was going to ask is, can you share the rose exercise? Can you tell people about it and just do a quick version of it? And you still have a link on your site, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's on the website and it's on the blog.
And let's just say your website while we're there, Thomas.
www.thomas-moore.com.
Okay, great. And as I always say, I will include links to the site when I post this afterwards on YouTube. Okay, so the rose exercise.
Yeah. We have someone sprucing it up as we speak. Actually, it's going to be a little lighter, and she's doing some wonderful things.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to do maybe a version of the rose exercise.
Yeah. So we'll go through the rose exercise. So the idea is for the person to close their eyes and just relax and take a deep breath. And imagine in the middle of your back, in the middle of your heart, there's a pink rosebud pointing straight out. So if you're standing outside of yourself looking at your own back, that pink rosebud is pointing out towards you with a pink stem going inside your heart. And now you imagine that pink rosebud all surrounded by green starting to open, getting bigger and bigger, larger and larger, 1, 1.5, 2 inches, and pink light starting to trickle into your heart, filling your heart with pink light. It's getting bigger and bigger, larger and larger, 2, 2.5, 3, 3.5, 4 inches now. Bigger and bigger, larger and larger, more and more pink light pouring into your heart. 4, 4.5, 5, 5.5, 6 inches now. This big, beautiful pink rose in the middle of your back and the middle of your heart, filling your heart with pink light and love from Divine Father, Father God, love from Divine Mother, Mother Asna, love from Jesus, love from whoever you pray to, filling your heart with love, pink light, filling your chest, your stomach, your abdomen, your hips, your thighs, your knees, calves, ankles, feet, and toes. Across your shoulders, down your arms and hands and fingers and fingertips, into your neck, into your face, into your scalp, into your mind, filling your entire being with pink light and love. And then you just say to yourself quietly, ego, I love you. Ego, I love you. And you say your name, and I love you. And you say your name to yourself, and I love you. And you can even put your hand on your heart and just, ego, I love you. Thomas, I love you. Ego, I love you. Thomas, I love you. You can do that for 10, 15 seconds, and it'll actually open up the root heart chakra.
So then breathing into that, now you're actually bringing your awareness from your mind. Just saying yes to this moment, accepting this moment. and allowing it to land, and then knowing that love is entering through. There you go. And you're safe to have your back heart open. It's about keeping your energy tuned on, tapped on, switched on, not switching yourself off. Abraham talks about being in the vortex. Are you in the vortex? Yes, we're in the vortex. All of us are in the vortex. There, just allowing and breathing. Now you just, now your emotional body goes, yum, yum. Now you're, and if your back heart has been closed for a long time, there may be series of emotions. And so that's okay. It's okay. I love you. It's okay. I love you. It's okay. Emotions have been bottled up for a long time when the back heart has been shut. So it's really soothing it, not being afraid of it. Some of the deeper wounds are so deep that it's good to come for a session or have a Skype with us worldwide. Doesn't matter where you are, we can connect. Because it's more gentle and it's more effective because we're able to access, we're able to land in, and then Thomas can hear as I land in deeply with you in session or here on Skype. And then whoosh, okay, now we're going to release. Mother asked to help me to release. Jesus help me to release. And we just release all these deep held. Some of it can be emotional abuse. Some of it can be sexual abuse. Hurts about mother, fathers, it just is. It just, and it's this lifetime. Sometimes people say, well, I want to heal my past lives. Well, there's a lot of emotional stuff that people have to really clear in this lifetime. And so it's gentle, it's effective, and because both of our hearts are open, now the person is actually feeling loved. How can you help someone learn to love themselves when possibly the practitioner has their heart closed?
And some people believe that they should keep their rear heart closed because they want to protect themselves. Mm-hmm. And they're actually incorrect in that, because when your heart's open, you're loving yourself, you're also sending love, but you don't need the protection.
You're able to take, it's like you coming into your divine strength. Now it's no longer ego protecting and controlling and defending and reacting. Now this is the divine strength. This is the goddess nature. Being in your body. Someone's got their heart closed. Send love. It's discernment. It's when you notice someone is sending you yucky, egoic energy. I release. It's okay. So then you watch where you go with yourself, and you watch so you don't engage with someone else's ego. You take care of yourself. You're in your power, and the right power is this is where you bring your power. The ego loses control. So sometimes people have nauseousness because suddenly their ego doesn't have control anymore. Mm-hmm. Your soul effects. Put a yellow rose in your soul effects. It's okay. It's okay. Entering into your heart power. And this is what's needed. There's so many in the male protectiveness and reactivity, men and women. And of course, we see this all over in Germany. We see men that are there's so much going on, and we need more men and women honoring their feminine, honoring their soft side, but yet there's strength in that.
Kindness and humbleness.
Yeah, and their true strength. Wouldn't that be great? Wouldn't that be great?
I just love the way the two of you complete each other. It's wonderful to just hear the energy flow back and forth between the two of you. It's really sweet.
It's fun.
It's fun.
Yeah.
Good name was
That's right, Martha.
So on that note, can you talk a little bit more about, and I realize that every session is unique, but, is there kind of a general format that you follow? Like, Thomas, do you start by kind of seeing things, and then Rita, do you then come in and kind of help process the feelings that come up when people are told about what's there? Or is there kind of a skeleton or a framework, a structure that you move from?
We've honed our framework now.
The framework starts with us doing an intake interview. We ask you questions, basic questions, what's going on for them.
Yeah.
A little bit of past life, work history, date of birth, childhood, parents,
What
kids.
motivated you to come in?
Yeah, exactly. What motivated you to come in? Any symptomology that they have physically, anything that they're dealing with emotionally that they may stresses and things like that. And then almost always we take them through the rose exercise or the pink ball with the purple ego, which is a different one again. Something I channeled from Jesus a while ago, which you imagine a pink ball in front of your heart with purple ego, and it gets brighter and brighter, and you bring that into your heart, and then it actually feels different too. We do one of the other rose exercise into the pink ball, and then normally I will start doing some, Rita will explain the ego and how that all works, and I'll start going into the medical intuitive section.
So by the time, once we finish the intake, we take the shoes off and their jewelry and so forth, or their watch, and they lay on the table, we tuck them in, and then we check, we go through the rose exercise. Thomas checks the chakras, back and front, heart, or back and front, all checking all the chakras. And then we do the rose exercise. Even when someone has their back heart open, we go into one form of the rose exercise, the eagle ball or the other, just to have them land a little deeper. And then Thomas starts immediately doing his check. He goes through a thorough, he's a logistics manager. He was a logistics manager before the airport, managing warehouses. So he's really good at ticking all the dots. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Anyway, so then as he's doing this, I just, let's go in, let's just land in deeper, and I just help them to breathe and just connect into their body and relax and notice the music and so forth. And my energy just, it's just that there's this landing upon landing, especially when someone's had their back heart closed. Now there's all this releasing going on because the spirit is always present in the person. And now the ego soothes, and now this is good. But now they're receiving, now we're landing in. And I invite them to be open. I invite them to release anything they no longer need to hang on to. And I talk a little bit about the ego, and then I invite them to be willing to whatever's emotionally coming up, or there's a pain that they came in first off with. Oh, let's go there. Let's get in touch with that, and so it's to get in touch with it. You can't move anything. If you've pushed it away, it's going to stay there. It doesn't just go away. Yeah. And then at some point, Thomas comes in, and once we get them really in deep, and depending if there's some emotional stuff that came in first off with anyways, and we just stay in deep, and then we start releasing some of it. So I am in deeply with them, and then Thomas can hear, and then we start moving it, and I help to move it quicker.
I'll tune into what's going on with them emotionally, and the guys will tell me, and then we'll start working our way through those emotional blocks.
It's easy. It's simple. It's gentle. There's no cathartic. There's no. And the person's like, okay, I'm willing. Yes, I'm willing.
And the energy moves.
And it moves
quickly.
Very easily.
And then we usually go over all the physical aspects, and we recommend some products. We have a few products that we sell in the center. Biotics Research and Nutrimedics are professional products that work very well. Then we go through that whole list of what we've checked or what I've checked and recommend what they can do. We do some bit of energy work as well, and then usually we finish up. First session is usually an hour and a half, but at the center, and it's usually an hour on the internet. We do a Skype, and of course, we can't tuck them into the table on the Skype session, but
it, at the same time, it's like if I'm presencing with you right now, it's like, right there, we're just, if I look in you and just land in with you, it's the same deal. It doesn't make any difference.
Exactly.
Yeah. So there's some really common problems that if someone's listening and will listen to this, what we're creating here, there's some common issues that nobody knows about. And every day, every single day, we get people saying, I've been to 2 doctors, 2 naturopaths, 2 whatevers, a number of people, and no one can figure out. I was at the deli today, same story. No one knows why they're having the issue they're having or their loved ones. And so Thomas is able to determine some physical issues that he can talk about.
I do about almost 50 different checks of different things. They check all the organs, they check all the systems. They check for thyroid, and almost always, I'd say 98% of the people that we deal with have low thyroid because they're not using iodized table salt. And even then, if using iodized table salt, they're only getting trace amounts of iodine for your thyroid. So their thyroid is running low, so they have fatigue, foggy brain, and hormone imbalances, and anxiety, depression, heart palpitations, a whole bunch of different things happening with low thyroid. We check for adrenal fatigue, and almost always adrenal fatigue isn't actually adrenal fatigue. It's being caused by some kind of heavy metal or a mold, which affects the hypothalamus. The hypothalamus sends signals to the adrenals to keep them functioning. The adrenals aren't getting that signal, so therefore they're running at 20 or 30%. That causes dizziness, more fatigue, sleepless nights, a whole bunch of different things. People get heavy metals. There's bismuth in Vancouver water. There's arsenic in White Rock water. There's copper up north in Prince George. There's nickel in Ontario. So you have all these different. Lady today who comes from Nova Scotia lived on a farm. She had copper. She used to see copper in the bathtub. So she had copper in her system today. There's also a lot of BPA in people, bisphenol A, which is from plastics. And we've discovered that California fruits and vegetables have BPA in them because they've been using plastic piping to irrigate for decades, and now it's permeated the soil. So 60% of the regular fruits and vegetables, 40% of the organics have BPA, and I'd say 73% of the clients we see nowadays have BPA in them. That causes liver problems, hormone imbalances, and too much lactic acid. They have really tight muscles in their bodies. So there's a bunch of different things, a whole range of different things that happen. Mold, fungus, heavy metals, chemicals, toxins, BPA, plastics, such a range of things that are outside the box of the medical profession that we check for.
Doctors aren't able to find the sources. They'll check certain things and say, oh, you're good, your liver's good, but it's not true. And the drugs aren't going to help it because the problem is there. You've got to get rid of the heavy metals, you've got to get rid of plastic. And then you've got to watch the liver because when you're removing the plastics, the liver takes a nosedive. So we've got a lot of clients who's actually for not babysitting, but supporting, where there's a number of clients who are staying close to us and checking in because we need to monitor to make sure the liver doesn't take a nosedive. So it's done responsibly. We the thing is, we're on a toxic planet. No matter where you are, you're gonna have heavy metals and engaging. My goodness, or chemicals even. You're in this cloud of smog. It doesn't matter where you are, there's something. It's not about being more fearful. It's knowing that there's something you can do to clean it out of your body. There's a product. And it doesn't cost you thousands of dollars. It's under $100 to clean out. And once your body gets clean and everything comes back up to where it should function, then we always suggest, first of all, a follow-up to the session a month and a half later, and then come back in a year or so, or whenever something shows up that's irregular and you're feeling off in some way. Right. So it's a way of it's like your car, having a tune-up in your car.
The chelator we have is called Chelozyme from Biotics Research. It's excellent, and it's all vegetarian. So a lot of people who are vegetarians or vegans, they don't want to take a product that may have some kind of a glandular in it, like adrenal, bovine adrenal, or porcine adrenal, or things like that, but they'd rather use something vegetarian. We have a medical doctor who is an Ayurvedic practitioner, and he comes to see us, and he takes another product called ADS for his adrenals, which is a non-glandular type product, and it seems to work pretty good for him. But the chelator works for BPA and heavy metals and some chemicals and toxins too, and it's really easy to be given it to babies. 3-month-old babies never had a problem with it.
And when mom's got something wrong with it, chances are the baby has something, or the little one. We just had that the other day, the 6-year-old. And, the teacher said, well, you should get your 6-year-old checked out. And she was smart enough to say, well, I think I'm going to go check another route. And she found us, and she found that, low thyroid, there's anxiousness, and liquid iodine. If everybody just simply started taking some liquid iodine, we refer to trophic.
Yeah, trophic iodine is made in Canada. It's 640 micrograms per drop. Most men need about 1 drop a day, 600 micrograms. Most people, adults, need 600 micrograms for the thyroid. For women, they need more because their breasts are going to absorb a certain amount of iodine. A cups usually 1 to 200 micrograms, B cups 2 to 3, C's 3 to 4, and D cups 5 and 600 up. So you're going to need more than a man does because they'll go to the breast. Iodine will go to the breast first to prevent estrogen dominant breast cancer, and the rest goes to the thyroid. So if you're getting trace amounts from your vitamins or from table salt, so you're getting 100 micrograms a day, woman's breast is going to take it all, and the thyroid is going to get nothing. But for children, what we do is we recommend that they take 1 drop, put it in a glass of water, stir it up, and give that child a quarter of that per day. And the next day, give them another quarter. And sometimes even an eighth of a drop.
When they're little.
When they're really little.
It's good to have a session because then we really pinpoint as to what is going on. And then rather than throwing darts, it's like.
The brother that came the other day, the teacher said that he should be checked because he's got some attention deficit disorder.
Yeah,
he had low thyroid, he had mercury, and had aluminum in the system. The mercury and aluminum didn't come from vaccinations, which vaccinations have aluminum and mercury in them.
Mm-hmm.
It came from mom. Mom had the mercury and aluminum, so the baby came out that way. Mm-hmm. So you have to chelate the mother, you have to chelate the son, and get the thyroids up and running, and that boy will be Bob's your uncle in about a month or 2.
Without the label, without
yes,
projections of whatever from
without the learning disabilities.
Exactly. Yeah.
Wonderful.
And by the way, the rose exercise, when you open your back heart or you're a parent and you've got kids, oh my goodness, your children are going to go, oh, mom's getting that heart. And they're just going to, the little ones, they can see when mom's heart is open or closed. Yeah. We have clients and they can see it and they tell their parents, mom's heart's closed. It's
instantaneous.
Instantaneous.
The kid's picking up just like a sponge. You come home with your heart open, your child's heart will open up right then and there.
And imagine
go, oh, it's different.
More children being raised with hearts open. Wouldn't that be great?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a lot that goes on. People think that just eating good vegetables, particularly organic, and water and exercise, and you're good. I'm sorry, it's not enough. It's just not. And there's misunderstandings about the thyroid or the iodine. There's lots of stuff on the internet. I take liquid iodine every day. We check percentage wise. Everything needs to be up at about 60, 70, or even 90%.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the thing is that we look outside the box, whereas the medical profession generally doesn't. We had a client who's a dentist, started getting heart palpitations and racing heart. She went and saw her doctor. The doctor said, well, you have some kind of autoimmune disorder, so here's some beta blockers and blood thinners. She finally came to see us, and she'd been a client before. And I said, well, you have some white mold in your system. Where are you getting white mold from? She says, well, I have all these forms from old forms for people's mouths in my basement in plastic boxes. And I went, really? She has the white powder all over them. I got her, I was breathing it and all the rest. I said, well, that's where the white mold came from. So I gave her some products to get rid of the white mold. She went away. And I got a hold of her again, and she says, well, it hasn't really gone away, but I went back to see the doctor, and the doctor says, well, here's some more beta blockers and blood thinners. I says, you need to come back and check with me. So she came back. I said, the mold's still there. Here, take another bottle of this, try this. All the symptoms went away. A month after that, the doctor says, well, you're fine, and took her off the beta blockers and blood thinners.
So it's good to follow up.
Yeah.
It's good to follow up with getting rid of the heavy metals, making sure the hypothalamus is up and running, getting the adrenals up.
But the thing is if that doctor, if the mold hadn't gone away, she'd still be in beta blockers and blood thinners for the rest of her life.
So we're not discounting the medical system. We're very grateful. No. The Canadian medical system is wonderful. My mom was at the hospital for 6 weeks, more than 6 weeks, and I'm ever so grateful for the care at the end of her life.
Yeah.
However, there's some
they're very good at many different things.
Missing pieces.
Right.
They're not so good outside the box.
So what we're suggesting is preventative, getting healthy, just feeling better all the way around.
Yeah.
It's good to come for a checkup.
Yeah.
See what's going on.
Yeah.
Because most people come to us after they've exhausted all of the resources. They don't know where to go. No one can find out the answers, and they want it on our doorstep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bada bing, bada boom.
So as I said before, we'll get people connected to you guys via the website, and you are in White Rock, and the address to the center is on your website as well. So
yeah, the address is there. Yeah, and
sorry, go ahead, Tom.
There's a phone number, and there's a section there you can send a message to us through the website.
Yeah, that's being improved even.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of information right now. We're packing it in within an hour, but there's some general things to just watch for. And any questions that you've got, Nathan?
Well, I just we need to. I'd like to wrap up, but I just want to ask you one last question, and that is, what's next for you two? What do you see happening in the days?
You'll win the million, and yeah. We watch the House Hunters, International House Hunters, and go, oh, but that'd be a nice place to have. And we'd like to sit on the beach and
have a nice vacation someplace. Yeah. What's next? It's actually, I've asked the guys myself that. I said, okay, what's next? And they said, just wait, you'll find out.
Yeah, see, we're doing the work we're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
And it's about trusting that we'll be taken care of as well. And Jesus does speak through Thomas. So whenever I need some truth, or whenever he wants to come through, it's if I can impress upon everyone who's watching this or will watch this, please do the rose exercise. Please pay attention to the back heart. Open it up. You're not losing anything. You're gaining by doing this.
Send love to your ego.
Send love to that part of you. Know that it's about you coming into your true strength, and that you are able to take care of yourself and discern it. And just be gentle with the pieces of emotions that are coming up at that time.
Yeah.
And if there's something going on, it's not just energetic, and I'm sorry, but it's not. We're not ascending anywhere. We're not moving to the fifth dimension. This is about us being in our bodies all the way, not just up here in our minds and our intuitive, but it's about being fully grounded in our bodies and dealing with what's going on in the lower chakras. And that's why I help you. So, all right, let's land in the body. This is why I do Women's Circle. Let's land inside. Let's go inside. All right, what's going on in there? It's like getting rid of the trickiness, the patterns that are really preventing you from being truly yourself. Because when you clear the stuff, you create better. When you do the inner work, the outer shows up differently. You know this, Nathan.
Learning to love yourself is the most important thing you will ever do in your entire life.
And guess what? Every other lifetime you come back. After this one, you'll come back with your back heart open. This is like bonus.
This is bonus.
This is really bonus.
Because it doesn't matter what you do in your life, whether it's work, job, marriage, family. If you're not happy, you're still not happy, no matter what you have.
Yeah.
We've had multimillionaires come in and lay on the table and cry for the whole session because they're not happy with who they are.
So it's really about, and this is what these energies are doing. There's your choice. Are you coming from ego? And this is what Jesus would say. It's pretty straightforward. There's no rule here. It's pretty clean. Are you an ego, or is your spirit leading? Is your back heart closed, or is your back heart open? And now you pay attention. And so it's really about being present. And you can feel when someone has their back heart open as opposed to their back heart closed. So watch your old patterns sneaking around. So it's pretty simple.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty simple. We need a kind of world. It is what it is, but each one of us can make a difference in our own lives and with those around us.
Every day.
Every day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There we go.
Here we go.
There we go. How is that for you, Nathan?
That's great. Thank you both very much.
Yeah. Thank you for the opportunity to come on your show.
My pleasure.
And we'll do a check on you.
Yeah.
Yeah, with Nathan, we'll do a check on you.
Okay.
He's offering this.
Okay. I'll send you guys a text or something after this to figure out when we'll do that.
Yeah.
Perfect.
In the meantime, I just want to say to those who have been watching, thank you for your time. It's been my great pleasure to spend the last hour with two friends that I have a great deal of love and respect for, Rita Britnell and Thomas Moore, who work together here collectively in White Rock, which is in the greater Vancouver area. And I will include a link to their website, which is www.thomas-moore.com, right? Get that right?
Yep.
Thank you. Anyone that wants to see us?
Yeah.
Where?
They will do sessions in person on Skype. There's their address for their center. There's a phone number. There's the Rose exercise. Everything you're looking for is all in that, on that very powerful and informative website. So thanks for watching, and thank you, dear friends.
Yep.
Namaste.
Blessings to you.
Blessings.
All right. I will see you soon.
Yeah.
You
See you soon.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.